Welcome, weary traveller, to a journey not through bustling cities or waking dreams, but deep into the quiet embrace of Earth's ancient past. Tonight, as the day's hustle begins to fade, we invite you to imagine a world transformed, a world swallowed by a majestic, icy shroud. Picture glaciers, vast and silent, slowly sculpting continents, their very presence whispering of an incredible chill. How could life, fragile and delicate, possibly endure such an immense, frozen stillness? Settle in, let your breath deepen, as we drift back to Earth's deadliest ice age, a time when our planet became a magnificent, frosted realm, and discover the extraordinary whispers of resilience from the prehistoric mammals who, against all odds, found peace and survival within its quietude. But before we gently unfurl the narrative of their remarkable endurance, if you find this journey into the ancient world helps guide you towards tranquility and rest, please consider offering a gentle like to this video and a quiet subscription to our channel. Your support, like a soft breeze, helps us continue to craft these calming explorations for you. And as you prepare to surrender to the peaceful current of this story, we invite you to share in the comments below, where in the world are you listening from tonight, and what time is it there right now? Your answers weave a gentle tapestry, connecting us all in this shared moment of quietude across the globe as we explore the deep past. The story begins not with the ice, but with a gradual, almost imperceptible chill. For millions of years, Earth had enjoyed a balmy greenhouse climate, a verdant world where lush forests stretched from pole to pole. Reptiles, particularly the dinosaurs, had reigned supreme for an astonishing 180 million years, their colossal forms dominating every ecosystem. But, as the Mesozoic era drew to a close, a subtle shift began. Tectonic plates, those colossal rafts of Earth's crust, were slowly but surely rearranging themselves. Continents drifted, oceans opened and closed, and these massive geological transformations began to alter global ocean currents and atmospheric circulation patterns. Warm, equatorial waters, once able to freely circulate and distribute heat across the planet, began to be constrained. Land masses started to cluster near the poles, setting the stage for ice to accumulate. Then came the cataclysm. Around 66 million years ago, a colossal asteroid, miles wide, slammed into what is now the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. The impact unleashed an unimaginable amount of energy, far exceeding that of any nuclear weapon ever detonated. The immediate aftermath was apocalyptic. Tsunamis hundreds of feet high ravaged coastlines, shockwaves ripped through the atmosphere, and superheated debris rained down, igniting global wildfires. Soot and dust ejected into the stratosphere shrouded the Earth in a perpetual twilight, blocking out the sun's life-giving rays. This sudden dramatic plunge into darkness and cold marked the end of the dinosaurs' reign and ushered in a new era. With the dominant reptiles largely gone, a unique opportunity arose for a group of creatures that had, until then, mostly lived in the shadows: the mammals. But the asteroid impact, devastating as it was just the prelude to an even more profound challenge. While it triggered a temporary impact winter, the true long-term cooling trend that led to the deadliest ice age was already underway. A slow burn of geological and atmospheric changes that would eventually transform the planet. The subsequent Cenozoic era, often called the Age of Mammals, would not be a gentle transition. Instead, it would be punctuated by a series of dramatic climatic shifts, leading to what geologists call the Pleistocene epoch, a period from about 2.6 million to 11,700 years ago, characterized by repeated glacial cycles. This wasn't just one long, continuous deep freeze, but rather a series of intense cold periods, or glacials, interspersed with warmer interglacials. During the peak of these glacial periods, vast sheets of ice, sometimes miles thick, covered huge swathes of the northern hemisphere, extending far south into North America, Europe, and Asia. Sea levels plummeted as immense volumes of water were locked up in these continental ice sheets, exposing vast new land bridges like the Bering Land Bridge that connected Asia and North America. Imagine this frozen world. Endless tundras stretched to the horizon, winds howled relentlessly, scouring the landscape, and liquid water was a rare luxury, locked away in solid ice. Vegetation was sparse, consisting mainly of hardy grasses, mosses, lichens, and dwarf shrubs. The very air was drier, as cold air holds less moisture, leading to a landscape that, in many ways, resembled a polar desert. This was not a world conducive to life, especially not for creatures accustomed to warmth and abundant resources. Yet, against all odds, mammals not only survived but diversified and thrived. How did these relatively small, often timid creatures adapt to such an extreme environment? An environment that had wiped out so many other life forms? What unique biological and behavioral adaptations allowed them to endure the punishing cold, scarcity of food, and relentless predators in this frozen realm? One of the most immediate and striking adaptations seen in many prehistoric mammals of the Ice Age was the development of incredibly dense and insulating fur. Think of the woolly mammoth, perhaps the most iconic symbol of the Ice Age. Its thick coat wasn't just long hair, it was a complex multi-layered insulation system. An outer layer of coarse guard hairs, sometimes over 3 feet long, shed snow and rain, preventing moisture from reaching the skin. Beneath this, a dense woolly undercoat trapped a layer of air, providing exceptional thermal insulation. This fur was far superior to that of modern elephants, allowing mammoths to withstand temperatures as low as -50 degrees Fahrenheit. But it wasn't just mammoths. Other creatures like the woolly rhinoceros, saber-toothed cats, and even early humans developed similar hirsute coverings, a testament to the universal need for warmth in this frigid world. This adaptation wasn't merely about growing more hair, it involved a significant metabolic investment, requiring more energy to produce and maintain such a luxurious coat. The sheer density of this fur was astounding, sometimes boasting more hairs per square inch than any modern animal. Imagine trying to comb through such a magnificent tangled mane. It was a living, breathing blanket, perfectly engineered by evolution. But how did their bodies produce and maintain such remarkable fur in an environment where resources were often scarce? The answer lies in their highly efficient metabolism, which allowed them to convert ingested food into the necessary proteins and fats required for hair growth. This wasn't just a simple matter of growing long hair, it involved a precise genetic programming that dictated the thickness, length, and texture of their coats, allowing for optimal insulation. This incredible fur also provided camouflage against the snowy backdrop, an added layer of protection against the formidable predators of the time. The evolutionary pressure to retain body heat was so intense that animals without these thick coats simply didn't survive, leaving only the fur-clad to pass on their genes. Beyond fur, many mammals evolved larger body sizes. This is a phenomenon known as Bergmann's rule, which states that within a broadly distributed taxonomic clade, populations and species of larger size are found in colder environments, and species of smaller size are found in warmer regions. A larger body has a smaller surface area to volume ratio, meaning it loses heat less rapidly than a smaller body. This is why animals like the massive giant ground sloth and the Irish elk, with its enormous antlers, grew to impressive sizes during the Ice Age. More body mass also meant a greater capacity for storing fat, a crucial energy reserve during times of scarcity, and an additional layer of insulation. These larger bodies also offered a greater buffer against the extreme cold, making it easier to maintain a stable internal body temperature. But how did these enormous creatures find enough food to sustain their massive metabolisms in a landscape where vegetation was so scarce? The sheer energy requirements of such large animals in a barren, frozen world presented an immense challenge. Consider the physics behind Bergmann's rule. A small animal, like a mouse, has a large surface area relative to its body mass. This means heat can escape quickly from its skin. Conversely, a large animal, such as an elephant or a mammoth, has a much smaller surface area relative to its mass, so it retains heat more effectively. This principle was a powerful driver of evolution during the Ice Age, favouring the development of gigantic forms. The megafauna, as these large Ice Age animals are often called, dominated the landscape. Their massive bulk helped them not only conserve heat, but also store vast reserves of energy in the form of fat, critical for enduring long, harsh winters. This fat wasn't just for insulation. It was a lifeline, providing sustenance when food was impossible to find beneath meters of snow and ice. But even with their impressive size, the energy demands of maintaining such large bodies in a cold, low-resource environment meant that every bite of food counted. This led to highly specialized feeding behaviors and incredibly efficient digestive systems. To overcome the scarcity of food, many Ice Age mammals developed highly specialized diets and foraging strategies. The woolly mammoth, for instance, was a master grazer, equipped with enormous, flat molars, perfectly adapted for grinding tough, fibrous grasses and sedges. Their trunks, strong and dexterous, were used to pluck vegetation from beneath the snow, sometimes even scraping away layers of ice. Other herbivores, like the steppe bison and wild horses, were also highly adapted to grazing on the low-lying tundra vegetation. But the tundra, though seemingly barren, was surprisingly productive in its own way. The cold, dry conditions preserved organic matter in the soil, preventing rapid decomposition and creating a nutrient-rich substrate for hardy, fast-growing grasses during the brief summer months. This unique ecosystem, often called the Mammoth Steppe, stretched across vast regions of Eurasia and North America, a landscape dominated by nutrient-rich grasses and sedges rather than trees. These herbivores weren't just passively eating, they were actively shaping the landscape. Their constant grazing prevented the growth of large shrubs and trees, maintaining the open, grassy plains that provided their sustenance. Their powerful chewing muscles and specialized teeth allowed them to process enormous quantities of abrasive vegetation, extracting every last bit of nutrient from their fibrous diet. Imagine the sound of thousands of these massive animals, chewing, grinding, and moving across the frozen plains. It was a symphony of survival. The limited biodiversity of plants meant that these animals had to become incredibly efficient at digesting what was available. Their gut microbiomes were likely highly specialized, teeming with microorganisms capable of breaking down tough cellulose, maximizing nutrient absorption from a seemingly meager diet. However, not all Ice Age mammals were grazers. Some, like the giant short-faced bear, were formidable predators, and their survival depended on the availability of these large herbivores. The relationship between predator and prey became even more critical and finely tuned in such a harsh environment. Predators needed to be exceptionally efficient hunters, and prey animals developed sophisticated defense mechanisms and social structures. But what about those creatures that didn't fit neatly into the grazer or predator categories? How did a diverse array of other mammals, from burrowing rodents to massive carnivores, manage to find their niche and flourish in this unforgiving frozen world? The web of life was incredibly intricate, and each species played a vital role in maintaining the delicate balance of the Ice Age ecosystem. Consider the saber-toothed cat, Smilodon fatalis, an apex predator of its time. Its enormous canine teeth, up to 7 inches long, were not designed for ripping and tearing like modern cat teeth, but rather for a precise, shearing kill. It likely ambushed large, slow-moving prey like mammoths or ground sloths, using its powerful forelimbs to pin them down before delivering a fatal bite to the throat. This specialized hunting technique required immense strength and precision, as a missed strike could mean starvation, in a world where food was a constant struggle. Other predators included the dire wolf, a larger, more robust relative of modern wolves, which likely hunted in packs using coordinated strategies to bring down bison and other large herbivores. Prey animals in turn developed sophisticated defenses. The immense size of mammoths and bison served as a deterrent. Forming large herds provided collective defense, as predators were less likely to attack a unified group. The powerful kicks of horses and the formidable antlers of the Irish elk were effective weapons against attackers. It was a constant evolutionary arms race, where every adaptation, every new strategy, was met with a counter-adaptation. This intense pressure drove both predator and prey to new levels of physical prowess and behavioral complexity. Even small rodents played a critical role in this ecosystem, serving as a food source for smaller predators like Arctic foxes and various birds of prey, demonstrating that every creature, no matter its size, was an integral part of the Ice Age tapestry. What was the behavior of these animals like, and how did the lack of food influence their personalities? Beyond diet, behavioral adaptations played a crucial role in survival. Many Ice Age mammals were highly migratory, following the seasonal availability of food. Herds of mammoths, bison, and horses would traverse vast distances, moving to areas where vegetation was more abundant or where snow cover was thinner, making foraging easier. This migratory behavior allowed them to exploit resources across a wider geographical range and escape the harshest winter conditions in certain areas. But migration alone wasn't enough. Social structures also became incredibly important. Living in herds provided numerous advantages: collective foraging, shared vigilance against predators, and mutual protection of the young and vulnerable. For example, modern elephants, close relatives of mammoths, exhibit strong maternal bonds and cooperative care for their young, a behavior likely inherited from their Ice Age ancestors. Huddling together also offered warmth, sharing body heat to reduce individual energy expenditure in the cold. The scale of these migrations must have been breathtaking. Imagine vast herds, thousands strong, moving across the frozen plains, their thunderous steps echoing across the desolate landscape. These ancient migration routes, sometimes hundreds or even thousands of miles long, were etched into the very fabric of the Ice Age. Animals instinctively knew these paths, passed down through generations, leading them to vital feeding grounds and calving areas. Such large-scale movements also helped prevent overgrazing in any single area, allowing vegetation to recover. The social dynamics within these herds were complex and vital. Older, experienced individuals would lead the way, drawing upon their knowledge of the landscape and seasonal changes. The young and infirm were protected within the heart of the herd, shielded from predators and the biting winds. This communal existence was not just about safety, it was about shared knowledge, collective wisdom, and mutual support in a world where individual survival was a monumental task. The intricate social bonds we see in modern, highly social animals are likely a legacy of these Ice Age survival strategies, forged in the crucible of extreme cold and scarcity. Another critical behavioral adaptation, particularly for smaller mammals, was burrowing. Animals like Arctic ground squirrels and various rodent species dug extensive burrows deep beneath the permafrost, where temperatures were more stable and insulated from the brutal surface winds and extreme cold. These subterranean refuges provided protection from predators and a safe place to hibernate. Hibernation itself was a remarkable physiological adaptation, allowing some mammals to enter a state of reduced metabolic activity, lowering their body temperature, heart rate, and breathing rate, and essentially sleeping through the leanest winter months when food was scarce. By relying on stored fat reserves, they could conserve energy and emerge in the spring when resources became available again. But the Ice Age was not just about survival through brute force and clever strategies. It also demanded significant physiological adaptations to cope with the extreme cold at a cellular level. How did the internal workings of these mammals adjust to consistently freezing temperatures? And what role did their unique blood and fat compositions play in their resilience? Burrowing wasn't a simple act of digging. It was an engineering marvel. These burrows could be incredibly intricate, with multiple chambers for nesting, food storage, and waste. The depth was crucial, as just a few feet below the surface, the temperature remained relatively stable, hovering just above freezing, even when the surface air plunged to extreme lows. This created a microclimate, a warm haven in a world of ice. For animals like the ground squirrel, these burrows were their entire world for months on end. Hibernation is an even more profound biological wonder. It's not just deep sleep, it's a state of profound metabolic suppression. The body temperature of a hibernating ground squirrel, for instance, can drop to near freezing. Its heart rate slows from hundreds of beats per minute to just a few, and its breathing becomes almost imperceptible. This allows them to drastically reduce their energy expenditure, drawing slowly on their fat reserves. The remarkable thing is their ability to rewarm themselves spontaneously, emerging from their torpor when conditions improve. This cycle of extreme metabolic suppression and rewarming, sometimes repeated multiple times during a winter, is a testament to the incredible physiological plasticity of these survivors. It was a strategy of evasion, allowing them to bypass the harshest conditions. The internal physiological adaptations of Ice Age mammals were just as remarkable as their external ones. Many developed specialized blood compositions, with higher concentrations of certain proteins and enzymes that prevented ice crystal formation within their cells, a crucial defense against frostbite and tissue damage. Their circulatory systems were also highly adapted, Animals in cold environments often have a countercurrent heat exchange system in their limbs. Arteries carrying warm blood to the extremities run very close to veins carrying cold blood back to the body. This arrangement allows heat to transfer from the warm arterial blood to the cooler venous blood, warming the blood returning to the body's core and cooling the arterial blood before it reaches the extremities. This minimizes heat loss from the paws, hooves, and ears, preventing heat from radiating away from the body unnecessarily. Furthermore, the composition of their fat differed from that of mammals in warmer climates. Ice Age mammals often had higher proportions of unsaturated fats, which remain more fluid at colder temperatures, preventing their fat reserves from becoming brittle or rigid in the extreme cold. This allowed their fat to serve not just as an energy store, but also as a more pliable and effective insulating layer beneath the skin. Their metabolic rates also had to be finely tuned. While some hibernated to lower their metabolism, others, like the mammoths, maintained high metabolic rates to generate constant internal heat. This required immense food intake, highlighting the critical link between specialized foraging and physiological capacity. Delving deeper into their internal chemistry, the presence of antifreeze proteins in their blood could have been a key adaptation, similar to those found in modern Arctic fish, which prevent ice from forming in their tissues. These proteins bind to small ice crystals and inhibit their growth, effectively depressing the freezing point of the blood and preventing cellular damage. The efficiency of their oxygen delivery systems was also paramount. Cold, dry air can be thin, and the increased metabolic demands of heat generation meant their red blood cells needed to be highly efficient at transporting oxygen. Imagine the sheer efficiency of a mammoth's internal furnace, converting tough grasses into enough heat to keep its colossal body warm in sub-zero temperatures. This was not a passive process. It was a constant, energy-intensive battle against the cold, requiring a highly efficient digestive system to extract maximum nutrients from their diet. This intricate ballet of internal processes, from the molecular level of their blood to the grand scale of their metabolism, underscores the profound depth of their evolutionary adaptations. The challenges of the Ice Age weren't limited to cold and food scarcity. The very landscape itself was dynamic and dangerous. Glaciers advanced and retreated, carving out new valleys and lakes, but also destroying existing habitats. The rapid shifts in climate at the end of glacial periods, known as abrupt climate change events, could be particularly disruptive. As temperatures rose quickly, massive volumes of meltwater were released, leading to widespread flooding and alterations in river systems. The delicate balance of the ecosystem could be thrown into disarray, leading to localized extinctions or forced migrations. Despite these immense pressures, the Ice Age was also a period of remarkable evolutionary innovation. New species emerged, adapting to the changing conditions, and those that couldn't adapt simply perished. The fossil record from this period is a testament to nature's relentless drive to survive and innovate, even in the face of overwhelming odds. The sheer power of these glaciers was immense. Imagine ice sheets miles thick, slowly but inexorably grinding their way across continents, pulverizing bedrock, scooping out basins, and depositing vast quantities of sediment as they retreated. This constant reshaping of the landscape meant that environments were never static. What was a productive grassland one millennium could be a barren glacial expanse the next. This environmental instability placed immense pressure on mammal populations, forcing them to be incredibly adaptable and mobile. Those tied to specific, shrinking habitats were often doomed. The interglacial periods, though warmer, brought their own set of challenges. As glaciers melted, sea levels rose, submerging coastal plains and breaking land bridges, effectively isolating populations. The shift from a vast, interconnected tundra to fragmented forests and wetlands required different adaptations. This constant flux meant that the Ice Age was not a uniform static period, but a highly dynamic geological era, a relentless test of survival for all life forms. The evolutionary success of mammals during this period highlights their remarkable capacity for rapid adaptation and their opportunistic nature in colonizing newly available niches. The Ice Age was a grand natural experiment, a proving ground where only the fittest survived. Those species that lacked the necessary adaptations, whether in their fur, their diet, their social structure, or their internal physiology, simply faded away. We see this in the fossil record, with countless extinct mammal species that couldn't keep pace with the dramatic climatic shifts. Yet for every extinction, there was often an emergence of a new, better adapted species. This continuous cycle of diversification and selective pressure drove the evolution of the magnificent megafauna we associate with this era. Consider the ripple effect of these changes. If the primary grazers like mammoths struggled, then the predators that relied on them would also face immense pressure. Changes in vegetation patterns directly impacted herbivores, which in turn impacted carnivores. The entire ecosystem was interconnected, a delicate balance poised on the knife edge of climatic stability. This intricate web meant that a change in one part of the system could have cascading effects throughout, leading to periods of both rapid extinction and explosive diversification. The Ice Age was a time when the very definition of survival of the fittest was put to the ultimate test, demonstrating nature's capacity for both destructive power and creative innovation. It's impossible to discuss the Ice Age mammals without acknowledging the emergence of early hominins, including our own species, Homo sapiens, during this period. We too were Ice Age mammals, subject to the same selective pressures and employing many of the same survival strategies. Early humans, like other large predators, developed sophisticated hunting techniques, utilizing stone tools, spears, and eventually bows and arrows to take down large prey. They also developed fire, an unparalleled tool for warmth, cooking, and protection against predators. But perhaps most uniquely, humans developed complex social structures, language, and cultural practices that allowed for the sharing of knowledge, cooperation, and the creation of technologies that went far beyond what other mammals could achieve. Cave paintings, like those found in Lascaux or Chauvet, depict the very animals we've been discussing tonight: mammoths, woolly rhinoceroses, and wild horses, offering us a glimpse into the minds of our Ice Age ancestors and their relationship with the magnificent creatures around them. The ability to plan, innovate, and transmit complex information across generations was a game-changer for human survival during this challenging era. Our ancestors truly stood at the intersection of biological adaptation and cultural ingenuity, a powerful combination that would ultimately lead to our global dominance. And so, as the echoes of the Ice Age begin to recede, we are left with a profound sense of awe for the wisdom embedded in nature's design. The stories of these prehistoric mammals are not just tales of survival, they are lullabies of resilience, whispered through time. From the intricate warmth of a mammoth's fur coat, a testament to ancient comfort, to the gentle rhythm of a hibernating rodent's breath, each adaptation was a serene response to the vast, cold expanse of a frozen planet. They were masters of stillness, finding harmony within extremity, and pushing the very boundaries of what life could endure. The peaceful endurance of these creatures not only allowed them to navigate the great quiet of the Ice Age, but also softly laid the foundations for the tapestry of life we see today. The ancient wisdom, the genetic murmurs forged in the crucible of ice and starlight, became the gentle inheritance of all future generations. As you drift deeper into relaxation, imagine these powerful yet serene beings, moving with quiet purpose across their frozen world. And among these magnificent, calming presences, one animal stands as a true emblem of this ancient era, its very name a gentle hush upon the winds. Its immense form, its shaggy fur, evoke images of ancient strength wrapped in a cloak of tranquility. Next, we will softly unravel the extraordinary life of the woolly mammoth, tracing the silent patterns of its anatomy, the gentle cadence of its behavior, and the soft whisper of its ultimate journey as the world began to warm. Let the image of this majestic giant guide you into deeper rest as we prepare to explore its untold story. As we continue our gentle drift through the echoes of the Ice Age, letting the vastness of that frozen world settle upon us like a comforting blanket, we arrive at the threshold of a story both immense and intimately quiet. We've seen how various creatures, with remarkable ingenuity, whispered their secrets of survival into the biting winds. But among them, one magnificent being truly embodies the spirit of that epoch, a creature whose very name conjures images of ancient power and serene resilience. How did this colossal mammal, a gentle giant of the frozen plains, not merely exist, but truly flourish in a world that sought to encase all in ice? What hidden wisdom did it possess in its colossal frame, allowing it to move with such peaceful purpose through endless fields of snow? Tonight, we turn our attention, softly, to the iconic woolly mammoth, a creature whose very existence was a testament to life's profound ability to adapt and find solace in the extreme. Imagine, if you will, the serene majesty of the woolly mammoth, Mammuthus primigenius, stepping softly across a pristine, snow-laden landscape. Its most striking feature, the one that immediately sets it apart from its modern elephant cousins, was its incredible coat of fur. This wasn't merely a thick layer of hair, it was an evolutionary masterpiece, a living, breathing insulation system perfected over millennia to defy the most brutal cold. Picture it, an outer layer of long, coarse guard hairs, sometimes reaching lengths of up to 3 feet, almost a meter, designed to shed snow and ice with remarkable efficiency, preventing moisture from ever reaching the skin. Beneath this formidable outer defense lay an incredibly dense, soft undercoat, a luxurious, woolly layer that trapped a thick cushion of air, serving as a powerful thermal barrier. This double-layered protection was far more superior than anything seen in today's elephants, allowing mammoths to comfortably endure temperatures that plummeted to a bone-chilling -50 degrees Fahrenheit, -45 degrees Celsius, or even lower. This magnificent fur was not uniform across its body. The thickest, longest hair covered its flanks, back, and belly, providing maximum protection where heat loss would be greatest. Even its tail was proportionally shorter and thicker than a modern elephant's, minimizing surface area to reduce heat dissipation, and often tipped with a tuft of long hair for added warmth. What silent, intricate biological mechanisms allowed these colossal creatures to grow and maintain such a demanding coat, requiring constant energy and nutrient expenditure, in a world where food was often scarce and spread thin across the vast frozen plains? The very act of growing and maintaining this furry blanket was an immense metabolic undertaking, a testament to the mammoth's highly efficient biological machinery. This wasn't just passive insulation, it was an active, energy-intensive commitment to surviving the cold. Beyond the fur, beneath that shaggy mantle lay another crucial layer of defense, a substantial layer of subcutaneous fat. This fat layer, sometimes reaching a remarkable 10 centimeters, nearly 4 inches in thickness, acted as an additional, vital insulating barrier, further minimizing heat loss from the mammoth's colossal body. This deep layer of blubber was more than just insulation. It served as a critical energy reserve, allowing the mammoth to draw upon its own stored resources during periods of extreme scarcity, such as the leanest depths of winter or times of heavy snowfall, when foraging became exceptionally difficult. This dual-layered strategy of fur and fat created an impenetrable fortress against the cold, allowing these giants to move with serene confidence through an otherwise unforgiving landscape. But how did these immense creatures manage to gather and process enough food, often buried under layers of snow and ice, to fuel their vast bodies and maintain these incredible adaptations? The survival of the woolly mammoth was inextricably linked to its diet and its masterful ability to extract sustenance from the seemingly desolate, frozen tundra. Unlike modern elephants that browse on leaves and branches, mammoths were primarily grazers, their immense flat molars perfectly adapted for grinding the tough, fibrous grasses and sedges that characterized the mammoth steppe. This unique ecosystem, a vast expanse of grassland, sedgeland, and herbaceous plants, stretched across northern Eurasia and North America during the Ice Age. It was a cold, dry environment, but surprisingly productive, fueled by the cold conditions that slowed decomposition, preserving nutrients in the soil. The continuous grazing of vast herds of mammoths and other large herbivores helped maintain this open, treeless landscape, preventing the encroachment of forests and shrubs. Imagine a mammoth's daily routine, using its powerful, muscular trunk not just for breathing and smelling, but as an incredibly versatile tool. Its prehensile fingers at the end of the trunk were capable of plucking individual blades of grass or sweeping up larger clumps. During winter, when snow covered the vegetation, mammoths would use their immense curved tusks to sweep snow aside, or even break through thin ice to access the frozen grasses beneath. Evidence from preserved stomach contents, particularly from mammoths found frozen in the Siberian permafrost, reveals a diet predominantly of sedges, grasses, and low-lying herbaceous plants, along with occasional willow twigs and mosses. These remarkably preserved remains offer a direct window into their ancient meals, confirming their specialized diet and the nature of the Ice Age flora. But the challenge wasn't just finding food, it was processing it. The fibrous nature of tundra grasses meant that mammoths needed incredibly efficient digestive systems. Their large, powerful jaws and continuously erupting molars, replaced throughout their lives, were perfectly suited for the constant grinding required to break down cellulose. This specialized dentition was a key adaptation, allowing them to extract maximum nutrients from their high-fiber diet. The sheer volume of food required to fuel their massive bodies and maintain their warmth was staggering, estimated at hundreds of pounds of vegetation per day. This constant need for forage meant that mammoths were rarely static. They were always on the move, a gentle nomadic presence across the vast expanse. How did these immense, slow-moving herbivores protect themselves and their vulnerable young from the formidable predators that also roamed this icy wilderness? For a creature as large as the woolly mammoth, life in the frozen tundra presented a unique set of challenges, particularly when it came to protection and survival of the young. Like their modern elephant relatives, woolly mammoths were highly social animals, living in structured herds, primarily led by an older, experienced female, known as a matriarch. This herd behavior was not merely a preference, it was a crucial survival strategy. The sheer size of a herd provided collective defense against the formidable predators of the Ice Age, such as saber-toothed cats, dire wolves, and giant short-faced bears. A lone mammoth, especially a juvenile or an injured individual, would have been highly vulnerable, but a cohesive herd offered a formidable, moving fortress. Imagine a herd of mammoths, moving with a ponderous grace, the larger adults forming a protective ring around the smaller, more vulnerable calves. This protective formation would deter most predators, who would be wary of facing the combined strength and sharp tusks of multiple adults. The matriarch, with her years of experience, would guide the herd to the best foraging grounds, remember vital water sources, and navigate the safest routes through treacherous terrain, drawing upon a deep inherited wisdom of the landscape. Communication within the herd likely involved a complex array of vocalizations, infrasound, low-frequency sounds undetectable by humans, capable of traveling long distances, and tactile gestures, similar to modern elephants. These subtle cues would help maintain cohesion, especially during migrations or in challenging weather conditions. The cooperative care of the young was another cornerstone of their social structure. Calves were nurtured and protected by multiple females within the herd, sharing the immense responsibility of raising the next generation in a harsh environment. This collective nurturing increased the survival rate of offspring, a vital factor in maintaining population numbers. Such strong social bonds also played a role in knowledge transfer, with younger mammoths learning critical survival skills, such as how to forage under deep snow, or how to navigate migration routes, from their elders. But the herd's movement was not random. It was often a strategic dance across the landscape, following patterns dictated by the seasons and the availability of sustenance. How far did these herds roam, and what ancient pathways did they follow in their relentless pursuit of survival? The vastness of the Ice Age tundra meant that remaining in one place year-round was simply not an option for large herbivores like the woolly mammoth. Therefore, extensive migrations were an integral part of their survival strategy, driven by the seasonal availability of food and water. As winter descended, burying vegetation under deep snow, herds would embark on journeys across vast distances, sometimes thousands of miles, seeking areas where snow cover was thinner, or where specific hardy plants remained accessible. Conversely, as spring brought thaw and new growth, they would return to traditional calving grounds and lush summer pastures. Evidence of these grand migrations comes from various sources. Isotopic analysis of mammoth tusks, which grow incrementally like tree rings, can reveal changes in diet and water sources over time, indicating long-distance movements. Genetic studies also suggest extensive gene flow across populations, implying that mammoths regularly interacted over vast geographical ranges, which would be facilitated by migratory behavior. These migrations were not chaotic wanderings. They were likely well-established routes, passed down through generations, etched into the collective memory of the herd. Imagine the silent passage of these massive beasts, their rhythmic footsteps leaving ephemeral tracks on the vast white canvas of the frozen plains, following ancient paths that led to life. These seasonal movements were a delicate balance between finding sustenance and avoiding environmental hazards. Crossing frozen rivers, navigating patchy ice fields, and traversing high windswept ridges would have been common challenges. The sheer scale of these migrations underscores the mammoth's incredible endurance and its profound connection to the rhythm of the seasons. It was a life lived in constant motion, a nomadic existence driven by the fundamental need for nourishment and warmth. The ability to cover vast distances efficiently was a testament to their physical prowess and their profound understanding of their frozen world. But what deeper secrets do the frozen remains of these magnificent creatures hold, allowing us to reconstruct their lives with such vivid detail? Our understanding of the woolly mammoth is remarkably detailed, thanks in large part to the unique preservation conditions found in the Siberian and Alaskan permafrost. Unlike typical fossilization, which replaces organic material with minerals, permafrost acts as a giant freezer, preserving not just bones but also soft tissues, hair, and even stomach contents. These incredible discoveries, often yielding entire frozen carcasses, offer an unparalleled window into the lives of these ancient giants. Imagine unearthing a baby mammoth named Lyuba, so perfectly preserved that her eyelashes and fur are still intact, her internal organs discernible. Such finds are true scientific treasures. One of the most famous sites in North America is the Mammoth Site in Hot Springs, South Dakota. This ancient sinkhole acted as a natural trap, preserving the remains of dozens of mammoths, both Columbian and woolly, that fell in over thousands of years. While not yielding soft tissue, the sheer number of skeletal remains provides invaluable data on herd structure, individual age, cause of death, and even pathology, revealing insights into their lives and hardships. The arrangement of bones at such sites can even suggest behaviors, such as desperate struggles or attempts to rescue trapped individuals. Beyond visible fossils, the advent of DNA studies has revolutionized our understanding of woolly mammoths. Scientists have been able to extract and sequence ancient DNA from mammoth remains preserved in permafrost, providing astonishing insights into their genetics. These studies have confirmed their close relationship to modern Asian elephants, but also revealed unique genetic adaptations for cold tolerance. For instance, specific genes related to hair growth, fat metabolism, and even blood characteristics, like specialized hemoglobins that efficiently release oxygen at low temperatures, have been identified. These genetic blueprints provide concrete evidence for the very adaptations we've been discussing, showing how their bodies were intrinsically designed for life in the extreme cold. Furthermore, DNA analysis has helped trace mammoth population movements, estimate genetic diversity, and even shed light on the timing and causes of their decline. Imagine the silent story held within a tiny fragment of ancient bone, unraveling millennia of evolutionary history. This combination of well-preserved fossil evidence and cutting-edge genetic science paints an incredibly rich and vivid picture of the woolly mammoth's existence, allowing us to feel intimately connected to these magnificent creatures of the past. But despite all their extraordinary adaptations and the richness of their lives, why did these resilient giants, alongside many other megafauna, ultimately vanish from the Earth? What forces, both subtle and profound, led to their final quiet retreat? The woolly mammoth was not just an individual species existing in isolation. It was a keystone species, profoundly shaping the very ecosystem of the mammoth steppe. Their massive grazing habits, as mentioned, helped prevent the growth of trees and shrubs, maintaining the open grasslands that were vital for countless other herbivores, from wild horses and steppe bison to woolly rhinoceroses. This constant grazing also aerated the soil and helped nutrient cycling, contributing to the productivity of the landscape. They were, in essence, the gardeners of the Ice Age, keeping the vast plains open and fertile for other life. This dynamic ecosystem also supported a diverse array of predators, including the formidable saber-toothed cats, Smilodon fatalis, the powerful giant short-faced bears, Arctodus simus, and the relentless dire wolves, Canis dirus. The sheer size and power of these carnivores meant that the predator-prey relationship with mammoths was one of intricate balance and constant evolutionary pressure. While a healthy adult mammoth was largely invulnerable to a single predator, the old, The sick, and especially the young, were susceptible to coordinated pack hunts. This constant threat honed the mammoth's social behaviors, encouraging strong herd cohesion and protective instincts. Imagine the subtle hum of life across this vast, cold landscape, the rustle of dry grasses beneath the feet of grazing herds, the distant howl of a wolf pack carried on the wind, the occasional, deep rumble of a mammoth's infrasound communication vibrating through the ground. It was a world teeming with life, a complex web of interactions where every species played a crucial role in maintaining the delicate equilibrium. Even the smallest creatures like lemmings and voles created burrows that aerated the soil and served as food for smaller predators like Arctic foxes and owls. The permafrost, while preserving these creatures, also hosted a unique microbial ecosystem that supported the entire food chain from the ground up. This intricate dance of life, sustained by the unique conditions of the Ice Age, allowed for an incredible flourishing of megafauna that we can only imagine today. But, despite this apparent harmony, subtle shifts were beginning to brew, shifts that would ultimately challenge the very existence of the mammoth and its frozen world. The woolly mammoth, a symbol of Ice Age resilience, ultimately faced its decline and extinction at the very end of the last glacial period, around 10,000 to 4,000 years ago. This extinction was not a sudden event, but a gradual process driven by a complex interplay of two primary factors: rapid climate change and human impact. As the Earth transitioned out of the last Ice Age, around 15,000 to 10,000 years ago, global temperatures began to rise, leading to the melting of vast ice sheets. While this sounds like a gentle warming, the changes were often rapid and dramatic on a geological timescale. The mammoth steppe, the very foundation of their ecosystem, began to transform. As the climate warmed, increased moisture led to changes in vegetation. The dry, grassy tundra started to be replaced by denser forests and wetlands, and peat bogs began to form. These new environments were not suitable for the mammoth's specialized grazing diet. Forested areas reduced the open spaces they needed for large-scale migrations and provided less of the tough grasses they relied on. The changing plant composition meant less nutritious forage, impacting their ability to maintain their massive bodies and thick coats. The very cold that had once been their ally now dissipated, and with it, the unique environmental conditions that allowed their preferred food sources to thrive. Simultaneously, and perhaps even more significantly, the end of the Ice Age saw the widespread dispersal of Paleolithic humans across North America and Eurasia. These early human populations were skilled hunters, and archaeological evidence strongly suggests that mammoths were a significant prey animal. Sites rich in mammoth bones, often associated with human tools and butchery marks, point to successful hunting expeditions. While early humans might not have been able to single-handedly bring down a healthy adult mammoth, their cooperative hunting strategies, use of sophisticated weaponry like spears and atlatls, and knowledge of mammoth behavior, such as targeting vulnerable calves or individuals trapped in snow or boggy areas, would have made them formidable predators. The combination of shrinking habitat due to climate change leading to fragmented and less productive grazing lands and increasing hunting pressure from rapidly expanding human populations created a fatal synergy. Mammoths, already stressed by environmental shifts, became more vulnerable to human predation. Small, isolated populations, cut off from larger gene pools by new geographical barriers, like rising sea levels or new forests, became increasingly susceptible to extinction. The very last known populations of woolly mammoths survived on isolated Arctic islands, like Wrangel Island off the coast of Siberia, until as recently as 4,000 years ago. These dwarf mammoths, a smaller form, were remnants of a once thriving species, their final demise likely due to a combination of dwindling resources, further climate shifts, and perhaps even human presence on the islands. Their extinction marked the symbolic end of the Ice Age megafauna, a poignant conclusion to an era defined by immense ice and even more immense life. The echoes of their final roars, however, still resonate through the silent permafrost. What deeper lessons can we glean from the mammoth's incredible life and its eventual disappearance? Lessons that might inform our understanding of life's precious balance. The story of the woolly mammoth is more than just a tale of ancient beasts. It's a profound narrative embedded in the very landscape around us. The massive glaciers that mammoths navigated carved out the valleys and lakes that shape many regions of the northern hemisphere today. The vast loess deposits, fertile soils carried by glacial winds, owe their existence in part to the barren, windswept plains maintained by mammoth grazing. Even the distribution of some plant species today is a legacy of the Ice Age ecosystem. Beyond geology, the mammoth has left an indelible mark on human culture. From the intricate cave paintings of Paleolithic artists, depicting these majestic creatures with astonishing accuracy, to modern scientific endeavors aimed at their potential de-extinction, the woolly mammoth continues to captivate our imagination. They represent a primal connection to a world long past, a powerful symbol of nature's grandeur and its fleeting existence. The ongoing discovery of mammoth remains in the permafrost, sometimes yielding remarkably preserved soft tissue and even blood, continues to fuel scientific research, providing new insights into ancient genetics, physiology, and even the possibility of understanding ancient diseases. The study of the mammoth's decline offers crucial lessons for today's world. It highlights the devastating impact of rapid environmental change, particularly when coupled with additional pressures like human exploitation. The intricate balance of ecosystems and the vulnerability of even the most seemingly robust species to fundamental shifts in their environment become strikingly clear. The mammoth story is a powerful reminder of how interconnected life is, and how small, gradual changes can accumulate into an irreversible cascade of events. As we draw to a close this exploration of the woolly mammoth, let its peaceful image, a creature perfectly adapted to a world of ice, slowly fill your thoughts. Its journey through the frozen tundras, its gentle grazing, its powerful yet serene presence within the herd, all these elements paint a picture of quiet endurance. The mammoth, in its majesty and its eventual departure, reminds us of the constant flow of life and the deep interconnectedness of all living things with their environment. Let this understanding settle over you, a gentle wave of knowledge and calm. As the whispers of the Ice Age mammoths fade into the quietude of the night, their legacy of profound adaptation and powerful resilience remains. Allow your mind to drift now, guided by the immense quiet presence of these ancient giants. May the tranquility of their long sleep now guide you gently into your own. As the vast, quiet image of the woolly mammoth gently recedes from our mind's eye, leaving behind a serene sense of its colossal presence, we turn our gaze now to another iconic inhabitant of that frosted world. If the mammoth represented the gentle, monumental strength of the herbivore, our next creature embodies a different kind of power, a silent, precise force that moved with exquisite grace through the same icy landscapes. Imagine a shadow stirring in the twilight of an ancient forest, not with a roar, but with a quiet, focused intensity. How did such a creature, with teeth unlike any predator we know today, master the art of the hunt in a world where every encounter could mean life or oblivion? What unique secrets lay within its powerful form, allowing it to bring down giants amidst the snow and trees? Tonight, we softly open the chapter on the saber-toothed cat, specifically the magnificent Smilodon, and explore the quiet, disciplined precision of its hunting tactics in the chill of the Ice Age forests, inviting you to let its ancient stillness guide you deeper into rest. Allow your mind to gently conjure the image of Smilodon fatalis, the most famous of the saber-toothed cats, a creature whose very name evokes an almost mythical aura. This was not merely a large cat. It was a marvel of specialized evolution, its anatomy meticulously crafted for a singular, powerful purpose: to bring down the massive herbivores of the Ice Age. The most striking feature, of course, were its eponymous saber teeth, those incredible elongated canine teeth that could reach lengths of up to 7 inches, 18 centimeters, in the largest individuals. These formidable weapons were not designed for tearing or chewing meat like a modern lion's fangs. Instead, they were incredibly fragile if used improperly, designed for a precise shearing kill. Imagine the sheer power required to wield such delicate instruments. Smilodon possessed an exceptionally wide gape, allowing it to open its jaws almost 120 degrees, nearly twice as wide as a modern lion, to properly deploy those long canines. Its jaw muscles, while strong for the initial bite, were perhaps less about crushing force and more about the speed and precision of the strike. But the sabers themselves were only part of the story. Its skull was deep and robust, housing powerful neck muscles that would have driven those canines into its prey with immense force. Its body was unlike that of any modern big cat. Consider its build. Smilodon was not built for sustained chases across open plains like a cheetah. Instead, it was a creature of immense strength and power, a robust, muscular predator built for ambush and close-quarters combat. Its forelimbs were disproportionately powerful, even compared to modern lions, featuring extremely developed muscles that would have allowed it to latch onto and wrestle struggling prey. Its hind limbs, while strong, were less emphasized for speed. This suggests a hunting style that relied on explosive bursts of power, pinning its target down before delivering a precise, fatal strike. What was the secret to deploying these extraordinary canines without shattering them against bone? How did this powerful, almost bear-like cat approach its formidable prey in the dense, icy forests of the Ice Age? The hunting tactics of the saber-toothed cat Smilodon were a carefully orchestrated ballet of power and precision, tailored to its unique anatomy and the colossal prey it pursued. Unlike the long, exhausting chases favored by wolves or lions in open grasslands, Smilodon's strategy was one of ambush and controlled takedown. Imagine the scene: a herd of Ice Age bison, perhaps the massive bison antiquus, grazing quietly among the sparse trees and snow-dusted undergrowth of an ancient forest. Smilodon would likely lie in wait, concealed by the terrain or the low light, its powerful muscular body tensed, ready for an explosive burst of speed over a short distance. Once the target was within range, Smilodon would launch its attack. Its formidable forelimbs, packed with muscle, were crucial at this stage. It wouldn't chase its prey for long distances. Instead, it would rely on a powerful pounce, using its front legs to latch onto the target, wrestle it to the ground, and pin it firmly. This physical control was paramount, as its saber teeth were vulnerable to breaking if the prey struggled violently during the strike. The immense strength of its forelimbs and its stocky build allowed it to maintain this close-quarter grip, bringing the prey into a position where it could deliver the killing blow. The killing bite itself was a masterclass in precision. Once the prey was immobilized, Smilodon would aim for the throat or neck, often severing the trachea or major blood vessels, leading to rapid incapacitation and death. The long, flattened, serrated sabers were ideal for this shearing action, designed to pierce deeply and cause massive hemorrhage. They were not for crushing bone. Indeed, striking bone could easily damage or break these precious teeth. This specific biting technique meant that the cat needed to be incredibly selective with its targets and patient in securing its prey before the final decisive strike. Such a specialized hunting style suggests a level of intelligence and strategic planning. Did Smilodon always hunt alone, or did these powerful felines ever cooperate in their silent, deadly endeavors, especially when facing prey as formidable as a mammoth or a giant ground sloth? For many years it was assumed that saber-toothed cats, like most solitary feline predators, hunted alone. However, accumulating evidence, particularly from the iconic La Brea tar pits in Los Angeles, California, suggests a more nuanced and intriguing possibility that Smilodon may have engaged in some form of pack hunting or at least shared kills. The La Brea tar pits are a unique natural phenomenon, natural asphalt seeps that have trapped countless Ice Age animals over tens of thousands of years. The sheer abundance of Smilodon fossils found there, over 2,000 individuals, more than any other predator, offers an unparalleled dataset for studying their behavior. What do these tar pits tell us? The high concentration of Smilodon fossils, often including individuals of varying ages and health, at sites where large herbivores like mammoths and bison also became trapped, suggests that multiple saber-toothed cats were drawn to these struggling animals. It's plausible that these traps acted as bait, drawing in predators who then themselves became stuck. But the sheer number of Smilodon remains, far exceeding that of other solitary predators, has led researchers to consider cooperative behavior. Furthermore, analysis of Smilodon bones from La Brea shows a surprisingly high incidence of healed injuries. Many individuals exhibit fractures, bone infections, and other severe wounds that would have been debilitating, making it impossible for a lone predator to hunt and survive. The fact that these animals lived long enough for their injuries to heal strongly suggests that they were being cared for or provisioned by other members of their group. Imagine a deeply injured Smilodon, unable to hunt for weeks or months, yet surviving due to food brought by companions. This type of altruistic behavior is a hallmark of social animals, where group survival benefits outweigh individual hardship. This doesn't necessarily imply complex, coordinated pack hunting like wolves, but it certainly points towards a degree of social tolerance and mutual support. It hints at a silent, cooperative understanding in a world where every advantage mattered. But how did these formidable predators, masters of the ambush, contend with the very cold that shaped their world and their prey's existence? What specific adaptations did they possess to thrive in Ice Age climates? While Smilodon is often envisioned against a backdrop of dense, temperate forests, it's crucial to remember that it lived during the Ice Age, a period of global cooling and fluctuating ice sheets. Therefore, saber-toothed cats possessed their own suite of adaptations to cope with cold climates, though perhaps not as extreme as the woolly mammoths. Unlike their modern African counterparts, Smilodon likely sported a thicker, denser coat of fur, providing vital insulation against the chill. While certainly not as shaggy as a mammoth's, this fur would have been more substantial than that of a modern lion or tiger, minimizing heat loss. Their robust, stocky build, which served them well in wrestling prey, also offered a thermal advantage. A larger body mass to surface area ratio, Bergmann's rule which we discussed earlier, meant they lost heat more slowly than slender, lean cats. This compactness helped them conserve body warmth in the frosty air. Furthermore, like many Ice Age mammals, Smilodon likely had a layer of subcutaneous fat to further insulate its body and provide energy reserves during lean times. Their foot pads might have been tougher, more insulated, or perhaps their fur extended partially down their limbs, offering protection against frozen ground and snow. Behaviorally, they would have sought shelter in caves, rock overhangs, or dense thickets during the harshest weather, conserving energy and escaping the biting winds. Their hunting patterns would also have been influenced by temperature and snowfall, perhaps focusing on prey that congregated in more sheltered areas or that struggled in deep snow. While they might not have had the specialized physiological adaptations of a mammoth, their combination of a robust body, a denser coat, and intelligent use of shelter allowed them to thrive in varied Ice Age environments, from open woodlands to more dense, colder forests. The ability to endure these climatic conditions was just as vital as their hunting prowess. But even with all these remarkable adaptations and their formidable power, the saber-toothed cat, like the mammoth, eventually vanished. What led to the quiet fading of this magnificent predator from the Earth stage? The disappearance of the saber-toothed cat, Smilodon fatalis, around 10,000 years ago, aligns with the broader extinction event that swept across the globe at the end of the last Ice Age, often referred to as the Quaternary extinction event. Like the woolly mammoth, Smilodon's demise was not a singular, isolated event, but a complex tapestry woven from the threads of rapid climate change and the growing impact of human activity. The decline of its preferred prey animals was undoubtedly a major contributing factor, a silent, relentless pressure that slowly eroded its chances of survival. As the Ice Age ended, the climate warmed, transforming the vast mammoth steppe and its associated woodlands. The open grasslands, home to immense herds of bison, horses, and camels, key prey for Smilodon, began to shrink and be replaced by denser forests, marshlands, and new plant communities. This shift in vegetation directly impacted the large herbivores. Some species declined, others migrated, and some, like the mammoths themselves, eventually went extinct. As the availability of large, slow-moving prey diminished, Smilodon would have found it increasingly difficult to find enough food to sustain its massive body and specialized hunting technique. Its delicate saber teeth, perfectly suited for piercing large, thick-skinned animals, were not as effective against smaller, faster, or more agile prey that might have replaced the megafauna. Simultaneously, the spread of Paleolithic humans across North and South America introduced a new, highly efficient competitor. Humans, with their versatile tools, cooperative hunting strategies, and ability to adapt to a wider range of prey, became formidable predators. They would have hunted the same large herbivores that Smilodon targeted, potentially outcompeting the saber-toothed cat for increasingly scarce resources. As human populations grew and their hunting techniques advanced, the pressure on megafauna intensified, leading to a cascading effect up the food chain. With their primary food source dwindling and a new relentless competitor on the scene, Smilodon populations would have become fragmented, isolated, and increasingly vulnerable. Imagine the quiet desperation as herds dwindled, and the silent struggle for survival became more intense with each passing season. The specialized nature of Smilodon's adaptations, once its greatest strength, became its ultimate weakness in a rapidly changing world. Unlike more generalist predators that could switch to smaller prey, Smilodon's unique dentition and robust build made it less efficient at hunting smaller, quicker animals. Its extinction serves as a powerful testament to the delicate balance of ecosystems and how even the most formidable predators are ultimately dependent on the health and abundance of their prey. The fading roar of Smilodon is a reminder of profound change, a silent signal echoing across the millennia. What other silent narratives can the Ice Age offer us? Tales of adaptation and resilience that whisper through the millennia. The La Brea tar pits offer far more than just evidence of Smilodon's social behavior or hunting woes. They are an unparalleled archive, a meticulous record of an entire Ice Age ecosystem, preserved with astonishing detail. Imagine, if you will, the serene, almost mirror-like surface of these ancient asphalt seeps, silently beckoning thirsty animals to their doom. For thousands of years, these sticky traps, covered by a thin layer of dust or water, lured unsuspecting creatures to their demise. Animals would wander in, become stuck, and their struggles would only embed them deeper into the viscous asphalt, attracting more predators and scavengers, who in turn also became trapped. This gruesome natural phenomenon has ironically provided science with an extraordinary gift, an immense collection of remarkably well-preserved fossils. Not just bones, but sometimes even hair, pollen, and seeds are recovered from the asphalt, providing a holistic view of the Ice Age environment in Southern California. The sheer volume of specimens, hundreds of thousands of individual fossils, allows scientists to analyze population demographics, study patterns of injury and disease, and even reconstruct food webs with a level of detail rarely seen in the fossil record. For Smilodon alone, the La Brea collection has provided insights into their growth rates, their sexual dimorphism, differences between males and females, their pathologies, evidence of arthritis, bone fractures and infections, and even details about their dental health. The prevalence of broken sabers in recovered skulls further reinforces the idea that these teeth were fragile and prone to damage if misused, underscoring the precision required in their hunting technique. The ongoing research at La Brea continues to unveil new secrets, using advanced techniques like isotopic analysis to determine the diet of individual animals, or examining ancient proteins to understand evolutionary relationships. It's a silent, scientific meditation on a bygone era, with each new discovery adding a clearer brushstroke to the painting of ancient life. This extraordinary wealth of information allows us to move beyond mere speculation and truly understand the intricacies of these ancient lives. What other subtle clues does the fossil record provide about the lives and environments of these magnificent Ice Age creatures, often overlooked in the shadows of the megafauna? While Smilodon captures the imagination, it was part of a larger, incredibly diverse guild of carnivores that roamed the Ice Age landscapes, each with its own specialized niche and silent hunting strategies. Coexisting with the saber-tooth were the formidable dire wolves, Canis dirus, larger and more robust than modern wolves, likely hunting in large, highly coordinated packs to bring down bison, horses, and even young mammoths. Their powerful jaws and teeth were built for crushing bone, a stark contrast to Smilodon's shearing bite. They were the long-distance pursuers, relying on stamina and numbers. Then there were the giant short-faced bears, Arctodus simus, towering bears that stood perhaps 10 to 12 feet tall on their hind legs, making them the largest mammalian land carnivores of the Ice Age. While omnivorous, consuming both plants and meat, their immense size and powerful build suggest they were formidable predators, perhaps scavenging large kills or ambushing prey with a crushing bite. Their long limbs hint at an ability to cover ground efficiently, though not necessarily in a prolonged chase. They might have been less reliant on pure speed and more on surprise and brute force. Even smaller carnivores played vital roles. The American lion, Panthera atrox, a larger relative of the modern lion, also hunted the abundant herbivores, perhaps in smaller prides or solitarily, showcasing a more generalist hunting strategy than Smilodon. Various species of ancient cougars, jaguars, and even larger foxes filled other predatory niches, each contributing to the complex web of life and death. The Ice Age was a time of intense competition among these apex predators, each developing unique adaptations to secure their share of the dwindling resources as the climate shifted. This diversity underscores the incredible evolutionary ingenuity of life in the face of immense environmental pressure. What can the silent story of their coexistence tell us about the delicate balance of ancient ecosystems? And how did they divide the spoils of the hunt without constant, destructive conflict? The presence of multiple large predators in the same ecosystem, all relying on similar prey bases, often leads to intense competition. However, Ice Age ecosystems demonstrated a remarkable degree of niche partitioning, where different species evolved strategies to minimize direct conflict and allow for coexistence. This wasn't always a peaceful coexistence, but it was often a functional one, allowing each predator to secure sufficient resources. Smilodon's preference for large, thick-skinned prey like mammoths, mastodons, and giant ground sloths, combined with its specialized killing bite, set it apart. Its powerful forelimbs and ambush style were perfectly suited for these massive targets. Direwolves, on the other hand, with their more robust build and pack hunting, might have focused on bringing down bison and horses, creatures that could run for longer distances and were perhaps less susceptible to Smilodon's specific killing method. The giant short-faced bear, being an omnivore, could supplement its diet with vegetation, berries, and even carrion, making it less dependent on a constant supply of fresh, large kills. The American lion, a generalist, could perhaps hunt a wider variety of medium to large ungulates, adapting its strategy to what was most readily available. This division of labor, whether conscious or a result of differing evolutionary paths, minimized direct competition over the same prey at the exact same moment. They might have hunted in different habitats, some preferring denser forests, others more open woodlands, at different times of day, or simply focused on different age classes or sizes of prey. The carcasses of large megafauna also provided abundant scavenging opportunities, ensuring that little went to waste in this lean environment. Even after a Smilodon kill, other predators and scavengers would move in, cleaning the remains and recycling nutrients back into the ecosystem. This intricate dance of life and death, of specialized hunting and opportunistic scavenging, paints a picture of an ancient world teeming with powerful yet surprisingly balanced interactions. The silent wisdom of nature, guiding each creature to its own unique path, ensured the flourishing of such an array of formidable predators. As the silent echoes of the Ice Age begin to fade, and the majestic image of the saber-toothed cat softly recedes into the mists of time, we are left with a deep appreciation for its remarkable existence. Smilodon was more than just a creature with impressive teeth. It was a testament to the power of evolution, a finely tuned hunter perfectly sculpted by the environmental pressures of its time. Its story, preserved in the ancient tar pits and whispered through its formidable bones, speaks of a world teeming with colossal life and the exquisite precision required to survive within it. The silent wisdom embedded in Smilodon's anatomy and behavior reminds us of nature's endless capacity for innovation. Its specialized hunting, its potential for social cooperation, and its adaptations to the cold all contributed to its reign as a powerful apex predator. Its ultimate disappearance, tied to the vanishing of its preferred prey and the rise of a new, even more adaptable hunter, Homo sapiens, offers a poignant lesson about the interconnectedness of all life and the profound consequences of environmental change. Let the image of this magnificent creature, moving with quiet purpose through ancient forests, now settle gently upon your thoughts. Imagine its powerful muscles, its keen senses, and its silent, focused determination. The saber-toothed cat, in its very essence, embodies a profound stillness and power that belongs to a world long past. May the quiet strength of its ancient spirit now guide you deeper into rest, as the mysteries of the Ice Age give way to the tranquility of your own peaceful slumber. As the silent, powerful image of the saber-toothed cat softly recedes from our inner vision, leaving a quiet sense of its ancient precision, we now turn our gaze to a very different kind of Ice Age giant. If the mammoth stood as a monument to sheer size, and the saber-tooth to a silent, swift power, our next creature embodies a profound, gentle resilience, finding its sanctuary not on the open plains, but deep within the earth itself. Imagine a massive, shaggy form, moving slowly, deliberately, not with urgency but with a deep, patient wisdom. How did such an enormous, seemingly slow-moving herbivore manage to thrive amidst the biting cold and formidable predators of the Ice Age? What secret refuge did it create beneath the frozen ground, and what ancient rhythms of sleep did it embrace to survive? Tonight, we quietly explore the world of the giant ground sloth, a magnificent creature that found its unique path to peace and endurance through the art of burrowing, inviting you to let its tranquil journey guide you deeper into rest. Allow your mind to softly embrace the image of the giant ground sloth, particularly species like Megalonyx jeffersonii, a creature that defies easy categorization. When we think of sloths today, we often picture small, tree-dwelling animals moving with languid grace. But Megalonyx was a different beast entirely, a truly colossal mammal of the Ice Age. Imagine a creature that could reach lengths of up to 3 meters, nearly 10 feet, from nose to tail, and stand as tall as a modern elephant when rearing up on its powerful hind legs. Its weight could have easily rivaled that of a small rhinoceros, ranging from 1 to over 2 tons, making it one of the largest land mammals of its time. Its body was robust and heavily muscled, particularly in the shoulders and forelimbs, built for immense strength rather than speed, and likely covered in a shaggy, reddish-brown coat of coarse fur. This dense fur, while perhaps not as luxurious as a mammoth's, would have offered substantial protection against the chill, shedding snow and trapping insulating air close to its body. Unlike its arboreal cousins, the giant ground sloth was, as its name suggests, entirely terrestrial, though some smaller species may have occasionally climbed. Its massive limbs ended in formidable hooked claws, not for climbing trees but for powerful digging, and perhaps for defense. These claws, sometimes reaching lengths of several inches and incredibly thick at their base, were curved and sturdy, perfectly engineered for excavating earth. Its posture was semi-erect, often walking on the soles of its hind feet, with its forefeet turned inward, giving it a distinctive, ponderous, shuffling gait that might seem clumsy to our modern eyes, but was perfectly efficient for its ancient world. Its tail was thick, muscular, and incredibly strong, serving as a vital counterbalance and a sturdy tripod, allowing it to rear up on its hind legs to reach higher vegetation, much like a bear or a large gorilla. This allowed it to access leaves and branches that were out of reach for other herbivores. This seemingly slow-moving giant, however, possessed a hidden power, a silent ingenuity that allowed it to survive where others perished. How did such a large herbivore, with its gentle pace, find enough sustenance in a world of scarce resources, especially when much of it might be hidden? And how did those impressive claws serve its survival beyond mere defense and locomotion? The very act of moving its colossal body, especially through snow, demanded immense energy, highlighting the need for efficient feeding. The most extraordinary adaptation of the giant ground sloth, and a cornerstone of its survival in the Ice Age, was its remarkable ability to construct and inhabit massive underground burrows. These weren't mere shallow depressions or simple dens. They were vast, intricate, subterranean networks, often extending for tens, even hundreds of meters in length and plunging several meters deep into the Earth's crust. Imagine a labyrinthine system of tunnels and chambers, carved with immense effort by these colossal creatures, providing a stable, insulated refuge from the brutal extremes of the Ice Age climate. Deep within the Earth, far below the churning winds and freezing temperatures of the surface, temperatures remain remarkably constant. In winter, these burrows would have provided a natural sanctuary from the biting winds and sub-zero temperatures, offering a relatively warm, frost-free environment that hovered just above freezing. In summer, they would have offered welcome respite from intense heat, maintaining a cooler, more stable microclimate. This natural thermoregulation meant the sloth could conserve its precious metabolic energy, avoiding the constant struggle to maintain a stable body temperature against external fluctuations. These burrows weren't just simple holes, they were elaborate homes, sometimes with multiple entrances and larger central chambers, a testament to the sloth's dedication and engineering prowess in creating its own safe haven. Concrete evidence of these colossal burrows, often called paleoburrows or paleotokas by scientists, has been discovered across various parts of South America, particularly in Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay. These fossilized tunnels bear distinct, deep claw marks on their walls, perfectly matching the morphology and spacing of giant ground sloth claws, leaving no doubt as to their architects. Some of these burrows are so vast, with diameters exceeding 2 meters, that they could comfortably house multiple sloths, raising fascinating questions about their social behavior. Did these giants share their subterranean homes, perhaps finding warmth and companionship in numbers, huddling together in the larger chambers for mutual comfort? Or were these immense tunnels the solitary retreats of individual reclusive giants, providing personal sanctuaries? The silent act of digging, a constant laborious effort requiring immense strength and patience, was a profound commitment to survival, allowing them to literally carve out their peace and safety in a frozen world. How did these powerful, yet seemingly slow creatures manage to coordinate their immense bodies and formidable claws for such precise, extensive excavation, shaping the very earth around them? Despite their colossal size, giant ground sloths were herbivores, relying entirely on plant matter for sustenance. But, unlike the grazers of the mammoth steppe, such as the woolly mammoth, ground sloths, with their robust builds and powerful claws, likely had a more varied and opportunistic diet. They specialized in tough, fibrous vegetation, including nutrient-rich roots, tubers, bulbs, and perhaps even the bark and woody parts of trees and shrubs. Their powerful claws, though excellent for digging their homes, were also formidable tools for foraging, allowing them to unearth subterranean plant parts that were otherwise inaccessible to other herbivores. Imagine a giant ground sloth, its massive claws steadily ripping apart dense root systems or tearing away bark from trees and shrubs, accessing nutrient-rich layers that provided vital energy, especially during lean periods. Their teeth, while not as specialized for grinding as a mammoth's, were well suited for processing coarse, abrasive plant material. They possessed large, peg-like teeth that grew continuously throughout their lives, compensating for the wear caused by their fibrous diet. Their powerful jaw muscles allowed for a strong, crushing bite, enabling them to masticate tough plant material efficiently. Evidence from fossilized dung, coprolites, found in dry caves, particularly in the arid regions of the southwestern United States, has provided direct, astonishing insights into their diet. Analysis of these ancient droppings reveals a mix of grasses, leaves, twigs, and even fruits from a wide variety of plant species, including some that are not typically eaten by modern large herbivores. This dietary flexibility would have been a significant advantage in the changing and often sparse plant communities of the Ice Age, allowing them to adapt to regional and seasonal variations in flora. The ability to unearth roots and tubers would have been particularly crucial during the long, harsh winters when surface vegetation was scarce or buried under deep snow and ice. These underground energy stores would have provided a reliable and consistent food source when other options were exhausted. Their sheer size would have also allowed them to rear up and reach higher branches, or even pull down entire smaller trees to access leaves and bark, expanding their foraging range beyond what smaller herbivores could manage. This combination of powerful digging abilities and a flexible yet robust diet allowed the giant ground sloth to tap into a wider array of food sources, securing its survival in a world where every calorie counted. The constant effort of seeking out and processing such fibrous food, combined with the metabolic demands of their massive bodies and burrowing activities, meant that every bite was crucial. But even with a steady food supply and a secure burrow, the Ice Age winters were long and brutal. What other hidden strategy did these seemingly gentle giants employ to conserve energy and endure the leanest months? A strategy rooted in ancient biological rhythms that might hint at a profound inner stillness. For a mammal as large as the giant ground sloth, enduring the long, cold, and often food-scarce winters of the Ice Age presented an immense metabolic challenge. While their burrows offered physical protection and a relatively stable microclimate, maintaining full metabolic activity throughout the deepest cold snaps would have been incredibly energy-intensive. Some paleontological studies and lines of evidence suggest that certain species of giant ground sloths, particularly megalonyx, may have engaged in a form of hibernation or a less extreme state of seasonal torpor. This idea, while still debated for such large animals, as true deep hibernation typically occurs in much smaller endotherms, gains traction from recent scientific discoveries. Imagine a giant sloth retreating into the deepest, most insulated chambers of its extensive burrow as the first bitter winds of winter arrived, its massive body settling into a state of profound quietude. Its metabolism would gradually slow, its heart rate would drop significantly, and its breathing would become shallow and infrequent, entering a state of reduced physiological activity. While true hibernation, as seen in small mammals like ground squirrels, involves a dramatic drop in body temperature to near freezing, a seasonal torpor or light hibernation in a large animal would still involve a significant reduction in metabolic rate, perhaps lowering its body temperature by several degrees below its active state. This would allow the sloth to conserve its stored fat reserves, enabling it to survive for extended periods without needing to forage, drawing slowly on its internal fuel. Key evidence supporting this hypothesis comes from studies of fossil bones from Ice Age sites in Argentina, particularly a megalonyx femur from a cave called Arroyo del Vizcaíno. Researchers have analyzed growth rings within the bones, a technique called sclerochronology, similar to tree rings which record periods of growth and arrest. These analyses have revealed distinct patterns of slowed or arrested growth that are consistent with seasonal torpor or hibernation, occurring during the coldest months. Further support comes from isotope analysis of their bones and teeth, which can provide clues about their metabolic rate and dietary consistency over different seasons. For a creature of its size, full deep hibernation would indeed be a monumental physiological feat, requiring immense energy to re-warm its body. However, even a partial state of torpor, perhaps just lowering its body temperature by a few degrees and significantly reducing its activity and metabolic rate, would offer a massive energy saving, making survival through prolonged periods of scarcity much more feasible. This ability to temporarily slow down the very rhythm of life, finding peace in deep slumber, was another testament to the sloth's quiet ingenuity, an ancient secret for survival. How did these magnificent burrowing giants manage to spread across such an immense and diverse landscape, from the cold open woodlands to more temperate zones, establishing their quiet dominance over millions of years? The giant ground sloths, including Megalonyx and its diverse relatives, were not confined to a single region. They were incredibly successful and widespread across the Americas, from Alaska in the far north to the southern tip of South America. Their fossil remains have been discovered in a remarkable range of environments, spanning continents and climates, from the cold open woodlands and grasslands of North America to the more temperate forests and savannas of South America, indicating their profound adaptability to diverse Ice Age conditions. The ability to dig extensive, thermally stable burrows certainly contributed significantly to their broad geographical range, allowing them to effectively create habitable microclimates within vastly different external environments. Megalonyx jeffersoni, the species famously named after Thomas Jefferson, who enthusiastically studied its fossils, mistakenly thinking they belonged to a giant lion, was particularly prevalent across North America. Its remains have been found from Florida to Alaska, suggesting it adapted to a wide array of habitats, including coniferous forests, mixed woodlands, and even some open grasslands. Other giant ground sloth genera, such as the truly colossal Megatherium, which was even larger, up to 6 meters long and weighing several tons, and more heavily armored, dominated South America. Another notable genus, Erematherium, was found in both North and South America, showcasing the intercontinental dispersal of these magnificent creatures. The discovery of their paleoburrows across various South American countries, some reaching astounding lengths and depths, further confirms their widespread presence and their reliance on these underground sanctuaries. These ancient tunnels are tangible proof of a continent-spanning presence. The existence of numerous species and genera of ground sloths across such a vast continent over millions of years speaks volumes about their evolutionary success during the Cenozoic era. They diversified into a range of sizes and forms, each adapted to slightly different ecological niches, yet all sharing the fundamental characteristics of powerful digging claws and a herbivorous diet. Their presence across such a wide latitudinal range means they adapted to significant variations in temperature and vegetation, highlighting their incredible resilience and flexibility. This continental reach suggests a slow, steady expansion, a patient colonization of new territories, carving out their existence with each powerful swipe of their claws. It paints a picture of an unhurried yet unstoppable force of nature. But despite their widespread success, their unique adaptations, and their mastery of burrow life, these powerful burrowing giants also eventually faded from the earth. What silent, converging forces led to the final slumber of the giant ground sloth? And how does their disappearance speak to the deeper rhythms of our planet? The ultimate disappearance of the giant ground sloths, like many other Ice Age megafauna, coincides with the profound environmental transformations at the end of the last glacial period, known as the Late Pleistocene Extinction Event, occurring approximately 10,000 to 8,000 years ago. This was a period of rapid and significant climate change, as global temperatures rose at an accelerated rate and vast ice sheets melted, leading to a cascade of ecological shifts that challenged even the most adaptable species. As the planet warmed, the vast open grasslands and mosaic woodlands that supported the ground sloths began to change dramatically. Increased moisture in many regions led to the replacement of these open habitats with denser closed canopy forests, expansive wetlands, and new plant communities. While ground sloths were more flexible feeders than some highly specialized grazers, these shifts meant a significant reduction in their preferred and most nutritious food sources. Denser forest would have also made movement and foraging much more challenging for such large, relatively slow-moving creatures, reducing their efficiency in finding sustenance. In addition to climate change, the rapidly expanding presence of Paleolithic humans across the Americas also played a critical, if perhaps less direct, role in the ground sloth's decline. While a healthy adult giant ground sloth, with its immense size and formidable claws, would have been a dangerous prey animal, early human hunters likely targeted juveniles, the old, the sick, or exploited vulnerable individuals trapped in bogs or deep snow. Archaeological evidence strongly suggests that humans coexisted with ground sloths for thousands of years, and direct hunting evidence, such as cut marks on sloth bones, has been found at some ancient sites, indicating they were part of the human diet. Humans were highly adaptable generalist hunters, capable of switching prey targets as environmental conditions changed, a flexibility that Smilodon lacked, and the ground sloths couldn't match. The slow reproductive rate of ground sloths, common among large mammals that invest heavily in a few offspring, would have made them particularly vulnerable to even moderate hunting pressure. Their populations would struggle to rebound from losses, making them highly susceptible to a kill-off effect, even if not intensely hunted. The combination of shrinking and fragmented habitat due to climate change, less nutritious food availability, and increasing hunting pressure from rapidly expanding and sophisticated human populations created a complex scenario that gradually pushed the giant ground sloths towards extinction. Their deep burrows offered sanctuary from the elements and predators, but they could not protect them from the large-scale ecological changes unfolding around them. The silent, gradual disappearance of these magnificent burrowers marked another quiet turning point in Earth's history, a testament to the fact that even the most well-adapted creatures are ultimately tied to the delicate balance of their environment. What profound lessons can the ground sloth's quiet strength and ultimate fading offer us as we reflect on the delicate balance of life on Earth and the preciousness of every ancient rhythm? The story of the giant ground sloth, from its colossal form and ingenious burrows to its foraging wisdom and potential for deep restful torpor, offers a profound meditation on resilience and adaptation. It reminds us that survival in extreme environments takes many forms, not always brute force or swift predation, but sometimes a patient, gentle strength, a quiet communion with the earth itself. The indelible marks of their massive claws, preserved in the walls of their ancient paleoburrows, serve as a silent testament to their industrious lives and their deep connection to the land, an enduring whisper from beneath the surface. Their disappearance, part of the larger Ice Age extinction event, underscores the profound impact of rapid environmental change and the delicate interconnectedness of all life. The ground sloth's reliance on specific vegetation and its vulnerability to even subtle shifts in habitat illustrate how a creature perfectly adapted to one set of conditions can struggle when those conditions fundamentally change. It's a powerful reminder that even the deepest sanctuary cannot forever withstand the relentless tide of a changing world. The slow, patient rhythm of their lives stands in stark contrast to the swift, sweeping changes that ultimately led to their demise. Today, paleontological research continues to uncover new details about these fascinating creatures. From the meticulous mapping of their extensive burrows using LiDAR technology to the chemical analysis of their fossilized remains, scientists are continually piecing together their ancient lives. There's even been speculative discussion about the possibility of de-extinction through genetic engineering, though that remains firmly in the realm of science fiction, for now. The ground sloth, in its very essence, embodies a profound stillness and power that belongs to a world long past, a gentle giant that carved its peace directly from the earth. As we conclude this tranquil exploration of the giant ground sloth, allow its image to settle in your mind. A creature of immense power, yet profound gentleness, finding peace and endurance in the cool, stable embrace of the earth. Its ancient rhythms of life, its deep sleep within the burrow, and its patient foraging all echo a fundamental harmony with its environment. Let this understanding guide you, a gentle current leading you to deeper rest. The silent wisdom of the ground sloth, the secrets of its burrow, and the peaceful patience of its life now invite you to journey into your own profound slumber, carrying the quiet strength of these ancient giants within you. As the quiet, powerful image of the burrowing ground sloth gently recedes from our inner vision, leaving a serene sense of its earthy peace, we now turn our gaze to another magnificent inhabitant of that frosted realm. If the sloth found its refuge beneath the ground, our next creature roamed vast open spaces, a solitary sentinel or part of a small resilient group, traversing endless plains of ice-dusted vegetation. Imagine a sturdy, shaggy form, moving with deliberate purpose across a silent, wind-swept expanse, its powerful horn carving paths through the snow. How did this majestic, heavily built animal, a close relative of modern rhinos, find its sustenance and path in such an unforgiving, seemingly barren landscape? What ancient migratory patterns did it follow, guided by instincts as old as the ice itself, to survive the relentless cold and find new pastures? Tonight, we quietly explore the world of the woolly rhinoceros, a creature of immense strength and quiet endurance, and delve into the serene rhythm of its migrations across the vast ancient Ice Age steppes, inviting you to let its steady journey guide you deeper into rest. The woolly rhinoceros, Chilodonta antiquitatis, was a creature perfectly designed for the cold, arid conditions of the Ice Age. Like its woolly mammoth counterparts, it possessed a remarkably dense and insulating coat of fur. Imagine a thick, shaggy mantle, long and coarse, covering its entire body, from its massive head to its sturdy legs, extending even to cover its ears and tail, minimizing any vulnerable exposed skin. This fur was not merely a superficial covering, it was an evolutionary masterpiece, a living, breathing insulation system, perfected over millennia to defy the profound chill of the Ice Age winds. An outer layer of long, stiff guard hairs, sometimes reaching lengths of over a foot, would have efficiently shed snow and ice, preventing moisture from reaching its skin and causing dangerous hypothermia. These guard hairs acted like a protective, weatherproof outer shell, guarding against the relentless elements. Beneath this formidable outer defense lay an incredibly dense, fine undercoat, a luxurious woolly layer that trapped a thick cushion of still air, serving as a superior thermal insulator. This double-layered protection was an engineering marvel of natural selection, allowing the woolly rhino to maintain its core body temperature even when ambient temperatures plummeted to bone-chilling lows far below freezing. Its skin, while thick and robust, was covered by this formidable fur, Unlike the largely naked skin of modern African rhinos, this furry shield allowed the woolly rhino to comfortably endure conditions that would quickly overwhelm less adapted creatures, ensuring its survival in environments where other large mammals would quickly succumb to the cold. Furthermore, the woolly rhino exhibited other subtle yet crucial adaptations for heat retention. Its ears were relatively small compared to modern rhinos, reducing the surface area through which heat could escape. Its tail was also shorter and thicker, minimizing exposed extremities. Every aspect of its external form whispered of adaptation to an environment where every calorie of heat was precious. This continuous, quiet battle against the cold was won through generations of precise biological refinement. But beyond its shaggy coat, what was the hidden purpose of that immense horn, a tool unlike any seen in its modern relatives, crucial for survival in a frozen world, and how did it aid in the relentless quest for sustenance? The diet of the woolly rhinoceros was a direct reflection of the Ice Age steppe environment, a cold, dry, and often windswept expanse of specialized vegetation. Like the woolly mammoths they often shared the landscape with, woolly rhinos were primarily grazers, feeding on the hardy, fibrous grasses, sedges, and dwarf shrubs that characterize the vast mammoth steppe. This ecosystem, unlike the lush forests or savannas we often imagine, was a unique biome, a cold grassland teeming with life that could withstand extreme conditions. However, fossil evidence, particularly from remarkably preserved specimens found frozen in the Siberian permafrost, reveals subtle nuances in their dietary preferences and foraging behaviors that set them apart. Analysis of preserved stomach contents from well-preserved carcasses has shown that while tough grasses formed the staple of their diet, lichens and mosses also constituted a significant portion, especially during the leanest winter months when other vegetation was scarce or more deeply buried under snow. Lichens, though seemingly meager and unassuming, are incredibly hardy, capable of growing on rocks and thin soils, making them an accessible and reliable food source in even the most barren and exposed conditions. Imagine the methodical foraging of a woolly rhino, its broad, flat muzzle, well suited for cropping short, low-lying vegetation, would move systematically across the ground. Its large, flat molars, similar to those of modern grazing rhinos, were perfectly adapted for grinding tough plant material into a digestible pulp. Its powerful lips would have helped pluck the vegetation, and its unique, formidable horn played a crucial role. This front horn, often reaching lengths of up to 3 feet, around a meter or more, was not just for defense. Paleontological evidence, including wear patterns on fossilized horns, strongly suggests it was primarily employed as a specialized tool for scraping snow and ice away to uncover the tough, dry vegetation buried beneath. Like a living plow, the rhino would systematically clear patches of ground, exposing the frozen grasses, sedges, and lichens that formed the bulk of its diet. This was a direct, active adaptation to foraging in snow-covered landscapes, a technique vital for sustaining its massive body during long, harsh winters. This diet, while robust, was often of lower nutritional quality than the lush vegetation found in warmer climates. Therefore, the woolly rhino, like other Ice Age megafauna, needed to consume vast quantities of this fibrous material to extract enough energy to sustain its large body, generate internal heat, and fuel its migrations. Their digestive systems would have been highly efficient, aided by symbiotic gut bacteria capable of breaking down tough cellulose, maximizing nutrient absorption from this challenging food source. The sheer volume of plant matter required to sustain such a large endotherm in a cold environment meant that the woolly rhino was almost constantly engaged in feeding. A relentless, quiet pursuit of sustenance. How did these powerful yet ponderous animals navigate immense distances across the vast, featureless plains, following the subtle whispers of their ancient instincts, to find new sustenance when old pastures became exhausted or buried too deeply? The vastness and seasonal variability of the Ice Age steppes meant that the woolly rhino could not simply remain in one place year-round. Therefore, extensive seasonal migrations were an integral and necessary part of their survival strategy. These movements, though perhaps not as immense or cohesive as those of the woolly mammoth herds, would have allowed them to follow the availability of their preferred forage, moving to areas where snow cover was thinner or where new, tender growth emerged in spring. As the deep winter settled in, blanketing the plains in meters of snow, they would shift to more sheltered valleys or southern latitudes where food was more accessible. With the thaw, they would slowly return north, drawn by the emerging vegetation. Imagine these solitary animals, or more often small groups of rhinos, moving with a deliberate, ponderous gait across endless white plains. Their powerful, stocky legs, though not built for speed, were perfect for enduring long-distance treks through challenging terrain, including deep snow and potentially icy river crossings. The rhythm of their movement would have been slow, steady, and relentless, a quiet, ancient pilgrimage guided by an innate sense of the changing seasons and the distribution of their food. Fossil evidence, particularly abundant in the permafrost regions of Siberia, provides critical clues about these movements. The widespread distribution of their remains across vast swathes of northern Eurasia, from Western Europe through Central Asia to Northeast Asia, indicates that they were highly mobile, capable of traversing immense distances across a connected, continuous steppe biome. Studies of ancient DNA extracted from these well-preserved fossils, for example, have shown genetic connectivity between widely separated populations, suggesting regular gene flow facilitated by long-distance migratory behavior. Isotopic analysis of their teeth and horns, which record dietary and environmental changes over time, further supports these migratory patterns, revealing shifts in their diet consistent with seasonal movements between different regions. The life of a woolly rhino was a continuous journey, a quiet, rhythmic movement across a landscape defined by the relentless advance and retreat of ice. Their very existence was a testament to endurance and the instinctual pursuit of life's sustenance. But in these vast, shared landscapes, how did the woolly rhino interact with other iconic Ice Age giants, particularly the towering woolly mammoths, and what were the silent dynamics of their coexistence amidst the competition for vital resources? The Ice Age steppes were a dynamic tapestry of life, where vast herds and individuals of diverse megafauna coexisted and competed for resources. The woolly rhinoceros frequently shared its habitat with the mighty woolly mammoth, as well as other large herbivores like steppe bison and wild horses. While both rhinos and mammoths were large herbivores adapted to cold environments and primarily grazed on grasses, there were subtle yet crucial differences in their foraging strategies that allowed for a degree of niche partitioning, effectively minimizing direct, destructive competition. The mammoth, with its towering height and immensely long, dexterous trunk, could reach higher vegetation, pluck individual blades of grass with precision, often consuming coarser material. Their massive bodies also allowed them to break through deeper snow to access forage. The woolly rhino, on the other hand, with its specialized horn and broad, flat muzzle, was perhaps better suited for scraping and consuming low-lying, tougher vegetation, including lichens and mosses, and more efficiently clearing shallower snow from patches of ground. Imagine the subtle choreography of these giants on the same landscape. A herd of mammoths might move through an area, grazing and clearing the taller vegetation, and then a solitary rhino or a small group might follow, accessing the shorter, tougher vegetation left behind, or using its horn to find new, previously inaccessible patches. This sequential or spatially separated grazing would have allowed both species to utilize the same overall resource base without constant, direct conflict over the exact same food items. Fossil assemblages from various paleontological sites across Eurasia often show the coexistence of both species, sometimes even their remains found together, indicating they inhabited the same general regions. However, despite these subtle divisions, competition for prime foraging grounds and essential water sources would undoubtedly have occurred, particularly during the leanest winter months or periods of environmental stress. The Ice Age Steppe Project, a collaborative research initiative involving scientists from various disciplines across the globe, has been instrumental in studying these ancient ecosystems. By combining paleontological data, isotopic analysis of fossil bones and teeth, which provides detailed dietary information, ancient DNA analysis, and paleo-environmental reconstructions using pollen, insect, and plant microfossil data, researchers have gained a deeper and more nuanced understanding of the complex interactions and dietary preferences between these mega-herbivores. This project helps to paint a picture of a vibrant, interconnected ecosystem, where each species played a vital role in maintaining the health and productivity of the vast grasslands. The very presence of these large grazers shaped the landscape, preventing the encroachment of forests and maintaining the open, productive environment that supported the entire Ice Age biome. Their interactions were a silent, continuous negotiation for survival. Yet even with all their powerful adaptations and their mastery of the frozen plains, what subtle, inexorable forces ultimately led to the decline and disappearance of this majestic, shaggy sentinel from the Earth's ancient stage? The woolly rhinoceros, despite its formidable adaptations to the cold, ultimately faced the same fate as many other iconic Ice Age megafauna. Extinction. Its disappearance, occurring primarily around 14,000 to 10,000 years ago, aligns precisely with the end of the last glacial period and the rapid onset of the current interglacial, the Holocene. Like the mammoth and the saber-toothed cat, its decline was not a singular, simple event, but a complex process driven by a destructive combination of rapid climate change and the increasing impact of human activity. As the Earth transitioned out of the Ice Age, global temperatures rose at an unprecedented geological pace. This warming brought increased precipitation in many regions, leading to a profound shift in vegetation. The vast and dry mammoth steppe, the very foundation of the woolly rhino's ecosystem, began to break apart and transform. The open grasslands and sedgelands, which were the woolly rhino's primary specialized food source, began to be replaced by denser, less palatable forests, expansive marshlands, and nutrient-poor peat bogs. The optimal cold, dry conditions for the hardy, nutrient-rich grasses of the steppe diminished, leading to a significant decline in the availability and quality of their essential forage. Imagine the gradual encroachment of new, less digestible plant species, slowly reducing the sustenance available to a creature that needed vast quantities of specific vegetation to survive. This profound environmental shift, perhaps even more than extreme cold, became a critical, insurmountable challenge for the woolly rhino, as its specialized grazing adaptations and horn use were less suited to a world dominated by trees and wetland vegetation. Their world was quite literally melting and transforming beneath their feet. Simultaneously, the rapidly expanding populations of Paleolithic humans across Eurasia plays an increasingly significant and undeniable role. Early humans, highly skilled hunters, and technologically advanced for their time, would have targeted woolly rhinos for their meat, thick hides, valuable for clothing and shelter, and perhaps even their horns, which might have held cultural or utilitarian value. Archaeological sites across Eurasia reveal abundant evidence of woolly rhino bones associated with human tools and butchery marks, indicating successful and perhaps systematic hunts. While a fully grown woolly rhino, with its immense size and powerful horn, was a dangerous animal, cooperative human hunting strategies, the use of sophisticated projectile weapons like spears and atlatls, and the ability to exploit vulnerable individuals, the young, the old, the sick, or those trapped in natural features like bogs, would have made them susceptible to human predation. The woolly rhino's relatively slow reproductive rate, typical of large mammals that invest heavily in a few offspring over a long lifespan, meant that even a moderate level of sustained hunting pressure could have a devastating impact on its population numbers, making it exceedingly difficult for them to recover from losses. The combined effect of a shrinking and fragmented habitat, with declining food quality due to climate change, and persistent hunting pressure from increasingly sophisticated and numerous human populations, created a powerful negative synergy. Woolly rhino populations became isolated into smaller, unviable pockets, losing genetic diversity and resilience. The very last remnants of woolly rhinos are thought to have survived in remote parts of northeastern Siberia, in increasingly marginal habitats, until perhaps as recently as 10,000 years ago, leaving behind only the quiet echoes of their past existence in the fossil record. Their extinction was a poignant marker of a changing world, a silent signal of the end of the Great Ice Age megafauna. What profound lessons can the woolly rhino's journey offer us? Lessons about the delicate balance between species, climate, and the enduring rhythm of life on Earth, even as its ancient voice fades into silence. The story of the woolly rhinoceros is a powerful and poignant testament to nature's profound ability to adapt, and also to the delicate balance of life in the face of profound change. From its dense, insulating coat and specialized horn for scraping ice and foraging, to its quiet, determined migrations across vast, ancient steppes, the woolly rhino was a creature perfectly attuned to its frozen world. Its coexistence with other megafauna, engaging in subtle niche partitioning even with the mighty mammoth, illustrates the intricate choreography and functional harmony of life in these ancient ecosystems. They were a cornerstone species, deeply integrated into the fabric of the mammoth steppe, contributing to its unique character. Its ultimate disappearance, a complex consequence of the interplay between a rapidly warming climate that transformed its vital habitat and the growing, relentless pressures from human hunters, serves as a timeless reminder of life's intricate interconnectedness. The woolly rhino's fading roar, or perhaps more accurately, its silent retreat into the annals of history, underscores the vulnerability of even the most robust and seemingly invincible species when faced with a combination of overwhelming environmental shifts and new, efficient predators. The Ice Age Steppe Project and similar scientific endeavors continue to unlock secrets from their well-preserved past, reminding us that every fossil, every ancient bone, every fragment of preserved fur holds a whisper of an ancient life, an untold story waiting to be understood, a lesson to be learned. As we drift deeper into the tranquility of the night, allow the majestic image of the woolly rhino to settle in your mind. A creature of quiet strength, steadily navigating its icy world, its shaggy form a beacon of resilience against the endless white. Its patient foraging, its deliberate movements across the vast steppes, and its ultimate silent departure all speak to the grand continuous narrative of life on Earth, a story of adaptation, endurance, and transformation. May the steady, peaceful journey of the woolly rhinoceros now guide you into your own profound slumber, carrying the quiet wisdom of its ancient migrations and the enduring lessons of the world long past. As our long journey through Earth's deadliest ice age softly draws to a close, let the vast, shimmering landscape of that ancient world gently recede from your mind. We have wandered with the colossal mammoth, felt the quiet power of the saber-toothed cat's precision, sensed the patient stillness of the burrowing ground sloth, and traced the steady migrations of the shaggy woolly rhino across boundless plains. Each creature, in its own unique way, whispered a profound truth, that even in the face of immense cold and overwhelming challenge, life finds a way to endure, to adapt, to carve out moments of peace and survival. Imagine now the softest blanket of snow falling, silent and slow, over those ancient tundras. Picture the stars, clear and bright in the crisp, cold air, shining down upon a world that learned resilience from every icy breath. The winds that once howled, with formidable strength, now carry only a gentle lullaby, a whisper of survival, a story of quiet triumph over the ages. These magnificent creatures, masters of their frozen domain, found their rest amidst the snow and ice, embracing the deep rhythms of the earth. Let the profound tranquility of their ancient slumber now settle over you. Feel the deep calm of knowing that life, in its infinite wisdom, holds the secrets of endurance, woven into every fiber of existence. As the last echoes of the Ice Age fade into the quietude of your surroundings, release any lingering thoughts of the day. Allow your breath to deepen, your muscles to soften, your mind to become as still and vast as those ancient frozen plains. The journey into the past has ended, and now your own gentle journey into rest begins. May the timeless peace of those prehistoric nights, watched over by silent, resilient giants, now guide you into the deepest, most restorative sleep. Drift now, softly, into the quiet embrace of dreams, carrying with you the profound tranquility of Earth's ancient, enduring heart. Good night.